first act when I defended.
I think it's like
people deluded. I'm back again.
Come on, Ian. Man. Come on. Oh, I was on mute. Let's do that again. People deluded. I'm back again. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and of course, good night. I'm pretty sure a lot of you would have seen David Ornstein has provided an update in relation to the Declan Rice deal. As you can see in the headline in front of me, Arsenal make opening offer for Declan Rice, Manchester City exploring approach. Now, depending on who you are, that might make you a bit nervous. It does make me nervous. As I always say, the dream is free, the hustle is sold separately. While every article in the last week or so, or whatever, everybody's saying it's a formality for Declan Rice to sign for Arsenal. He's spoken with Mikel Arteta. He's spoken with his England colleagues. There's a mutual respect and there's confidence the deal will get done. Now, when you hear Manchester City are exploring the approach, come on, City, you're just done the three-peat and the treble. Let us have this one, man. Obviously, you hear the man wants to stay in London and you're hoping that together with whatever Arsenal's financial package and the team project they've sold is enough to get the Declan Rice deal over the line. I know he wants to stay in London, but as bad as the weather might be in Manny, you'd be silly any player to reject Pep Guardiola and the chance to learn from him. There's a long list of players that he's reinvented, developed, taken to the next level. Simply put, Pep is a goal. We know what he's done, so he'd be silly not to consider that, especially if Arsenal can't get a deal over the line. And I don't know if Manchester City will offer the Calvin Phillipses, the Cole Palmers of this world to sweeten up the deal. What I would say is, typically you see opening offers rejected. You do see I'm not saying we're going to get it done or not get it done, but you do see opening offers rejected. It's how the world works in terms of negotiations. So you're hoping Richard Garlick, Edu, and the people in charge at Arsenal can find the resolution with his with the West Ham United counterparts, people. But David Ornstein, 25 minutes ago at the time of making this vid, has said Arsenal have made an opening offer to sign West Ham United captain Declan Rice. This first move follows talks between Arsenal executive Tim Lewis and West Ham counterpart Karen Brady at the Premier League AGM in Hampshire on Wednesday. Although Arsenal sporting director Edu and director of football operations Richard Garlick are leading the process, so everybody's involved, people. Manchester City are actively exploring an approach on their own for the 24-year-old. Now, they'll pay the money. You've seen it with Grealish, seen it with Haaland, seen it all the time. But we have to be somewhat ahead because it says they're exploring. Indirectly, they're probably speaking with their West Ham United counterparts, but we've had a bid rejected. They haven't prepared an offer. So we've got a bit of leg room and we need to, and leeway, and need to make it count. The Athletic reported in May that Rice was Arsenal's main target this summer, with the club prioritizing midfield reinforcements. As we know, the West Ham chairman, David Solomon, said after West Ham winning the Europa Conference League that he expects Rice to have played his last game for the club, and added that he wanted to go. What a way to go. He's contracted until 2024, like Granit Xhaka, and also like Xhaka on West Ham's end, has the option of a one-year extension. So far, he's rejected all approaches from West Ham to give him a new deal. David Sullivan confirmed that in the aftermath of the Europa Conference League victory. Chelsea and Manchester United have been involved. We all know, he's made 245 appearances for West Ham. David Moyes is saying he doesn't see why it can't be a British transfer record. We all know why the man's in demand, but that's the update. So hopefully we get it over the line. Again, David Ornstein provided something on Kai Havertz, people, and check out the rest of the videos. Let me know your thoughts. One thing I like about Kai Havertz, off topic, while his finishing can improve, he does make late runs into the box. So I can see why Mikel Arteta might think there's something here. But in relation to that Kai Havertz report released yesterday, and obviously things have updated since then, he said at the time, Arsenal meanwhile plan to make West Ham United an offer for Declan Rice, bearing in mind it's Thursday today, Wednesday yesterday, going back to the article we had. There's been positive dialogue around the matter and a bid is expected to be lodged in due course, which we've seen. There is no desire at Arsenal to waste anybody's time, and so they plan to formalize their efforts once the situation is in good shape. So hopefully that really is the case, people. Let me know your thoughts on what's been discussed. Big up the secret scout, my guy. Actually, no, it looks like West Ham are looking for around 110 to 120 million. If more is paid up front, then it could be slightly lowered. And we do hear West Ham, out of the 100 million, allegedly, they want the bulk of it paid across 2 installments, which For us ignorant fans, could be 40 million rand in this financial year, and next 40 million rand next year, and the remaining kind of done with add-ons if Arsenal achieve sporting, success, and also with Declan Rice individual success as well. So we'll have to see. Apparently, Arsenal and West Ham are continuing talks. The board back Arteta agreement shouldn't take too long, and whether West Ham sell to Arsenal or not, you do typically see this, people. It's transfer window business, so we'll have to see what's going on in that regard. Apparently Jorginho is trying to sell the Arsenal move to Kai Havertz, people, as we are apparently looking at the 24-year-old, where we're apparently willing to go as far as 60 million for the individual, people. At the time, just to go over Kai Havertz, people, Ornstein said yesterday Arsenal made an opening proposal to recruit forward Kai Havertz from Chelsea. Let me know your thoughts on Declan Rice and Kai Havertz and anything else we discuss, people. The North London club hold a strong interest in Havertz and are now working to sign the 24-year-old. Arsenal's pursuit, which is still at a relatively early stage, has stepped up in recent days following contact with Chelsea and Havertz. So there has to be some willingness from Havertz's side, from Chelsea side, to do a business. Clearly from Arsenal's, or this wouldn't be an article. Whether it gets done or not is still early, and it comes down to the price tag. You have heard we're willing to go as far as 60 million and present him with an offer around 200 grand a week, which is probably on at Chelsea. And people might look at that and think, why are you giving that to Havertz? But in any walk of life, you're not going to leave one job to another if you're not getting a competitive salary. I've offered my thoughts at length with Havertz, and I don't really want to go over it until there's some more movement and simply put the man signed. But check out my other videos, and I sure as hell want to know you lot's thoughts on Kai Havertz to Arsenal, on Declan Rice, etc. So let's keep moving along, people, with everything. As you know, all the journalists are coming out. West Ham have turned down Arsenal's opening offer for Declan Rice. Alex Cook has said West Ham have rejected an opening bid from Arsenal for Declan Rice. Not unusual to lowball with first offers, and Gunners have indicated they are willing to go 100 million plus. Again, I don't know what the ramifications that might have for anything else we want to do. Again, in relation to Kai Havertz to Arsenal hope June deadline will see Chelsea drop the asking price. And again, Man United allegedly had a bid rejected for Mason Mount. So what Chelsea value as valuation for their players, and what Arsenal, Manchester United, and any club that's interested in taking any player, they probably have to curb their expectations. And we've got to remember, it's the opening stages of the window. As the window progresses, Chelsea might soften their position. Even with, Chelsea have allegedly told Inter Milan no loan business for Lukaku. Last time I checked, Kai Havertz, Lukaku, Mason Mount, they're earning a lot of money and they're all relative sellable assets. So Chelsea need to get a move on in that regards. On the topic of Mason Mount, who was linked with Liverpool and Arsenal, seems to go into Man United. Again, I find it, someone made a point on social media, and it makes sense. Chelsea can't value a man at 70 odd million based on reports. And then, but you're trying to get him to sign a contract, but you're not giving him top money. I'm not saying he's worth it, but it don't really make sense, really. Chelsea are prepared to do business with Arsenal and sell Kai Havertz to their London rivals, but are demanding up to 70 million for the Germany international. Arsenal and Chelsea have opened talks over a deal for Havertz after Mikel Arteta identified him as a player who could add creativity to his team. Havertz would be keen on a switch to the Emirates Stadium. Arsenal want Chelsea to lower their asking price, but are willing to match his 250 a week K wages. So he's going to have to deliver, and Mikel Arteta is going to have to make sure he delivers to justify the price tag. Chelsea, as you know, need to sell players to help balance their books. Apparently, Conor Gallagher's been linked to Spurs. So Chelsea, I think all clubs really, you don't want to sell to Premier League rivals, and obviously people abroad have money, but the Premier League is up here, and the rest of the other top four leagues that make up the top five, they're down there. So in terms of getting close to your asking price, you probably have to sell to each other, really, to a degree. As you can see with Chelsea's players linked with a number of moves, Colwill linked with Brighton on loan or permanent. I've just said Conor Gallagher to Spurs, Mason Mount to United. We're looking at Kai Havertz. There's probably a bunch of other players. Kante, Havertz, Kante and what's his face? Sorry, people. Ziyech are linked with move to the Middle East, as is Mahrez of City. So we have to see, people. Apparently, they're in a race to offload unwanted players before the June 30th deadline, so the sales can be included in their financial accounts for the previous year. Arsenal hope that will pressure Chelsea to soften their stance over the valuation of Havertz, people. He apparently struggled since going to Chelsea from Bayern Leverkusen. Arteta is confident he can unlock his potential at Arsenal. I mean, he's still 24. He's also drawing interest from Real Madrid and Bayern Munich, and he has 2 years left on his deal. So Chelsea have to curb their expectations, and it's one to watch closely. Moving away from that, people, Manchester City want to find a solution for João Cancelo before the pre-season, as the Portuguese fullback will be available on the market. Discussions will take place soon as the interest of Barcelona remains strong. Arsenal also had contacts on the player's side. He's been linked with Real Madrid, Barcelona, Arsenal, actually Juventus recently. recently as well. Apparently, Mikel Arteta appreciates Havertz. He's a big fan of his qualities and feels that this is a player with space to grow and improve despite his struggles at Stamford Bridge. Reports from Sky Germany have said Arsenal has entered the race for Havertz, and credited David Ornstein. Havertz is for sale. He won't extend at Chelsea until 2025. Still no topic for Bayern Munich confirmed. Real Madrid is monitoring him, but they have to find a replacement for Benzema first, as reported. So that's why they continue to be linked with Mbappe and Harry Kane, people. Once again, Arsenal are keen on signing Kai Havertz, people. And we're going to be saying the same things at this moment in time. But Chelsea need to recruit funds after spending close to 60 million odd quid. And also added to the point I made earlier, Kovacic to Manchester City. So you've got Kovacic to Man City, Mason Mount to United, Arsenal with Kai Havertz, and you know what, a bunch of others really. So we'll have to see. Our main target remains Declan Rice. This article did say Arsenal was still interested in Lavia of Southampton, people. So monitor that closely. Fabrizio Romano said Arsenal are working to sign Kai Havertz. Chelsea initially told Arsenal the price tag is 70 to 75 million. Arsenal will never pay that money. Arsenal will never pay that kind of fee for Havertz. But from what I understand, sources close to negotiations believe that it is possible to sign Havertz this summer for less than 70 to 75 million. So Chelsea could be flexible in terms of the value for the player to make this deal happen, because they know that at the moment Havertz is not extending the contract, so they don't want to be in trouble in the next months. They prefer to sell now. With Arsenal, it's absolutely on. Conversations are ongoing and the player is keen on the move to Arsenal. So Havertz is open to joining Arsenal this summer. He knows Mikel Arteta really appreciates him, and this is a crucial point. I'm all for Havertz and the project that Arteta, if he believes he can get something out of him, provided you bring in Caicedo and Declan Rice or people of that skill set. Because the reality is, as much as I think Havertz is versatile, he can play in a number of roles. While I don't think he's a target man, he can play as a false nine. He needs to improve his finishing, but he makes late runs. We need to be serious in the Champions League, and we need multifunctional players. But this is a player that, for all of his talent and what he's achieved in the game, is a project player. We're rocking up in the Champions League. While every player, even Mikel Arteta himself, nobody's the finished article beyond a couple of players at Arsenal Football Club. We need less project players and we need an instant impact. And while it's not my money, I don't really care about the transfer fee and the wages. I care about the delivery. Is Havertz going to make us better? We'll have to see if we sign him and in time. But at this moment in time, if we named Arsenal's strongest 11 on the 15th of June, people, it is June. Why do I keep thinking it's July? Where does he play? Does he take Odegaard's place? Does he take Jesus' place? Does he take Saka's place? Does he take Martinelli's or whoever's place on the left wing? Does he take Xhaka's place? Probably Xhaka's place at this moment in time in that 8 role, really. And it seems like Havertz is still discovering himself. We covered it earlier. Check out the video I did, people. In fact, I still think I've got the article where Havertz once spoke about his best position, but didn't shed any light, really and truly. He has said, people, everyone asks it. This was a few months ago. Everyone asks this question. And after 3 years, everyone should know by now what I can do, that I'm flexible up front and that I can play a lot of different positions. And that's true, you can. But what are you a master of and then able to play elsewhere? Of course, sometimes it's good to play in... Sorry, people, this is putting me off. Of course, sometimes it's good to play in different positions and sometimes it's bad. But in general, I'm an offensive player. I like to be in the box. I like to score goals, improve your finishing. Mikel Arteta, you've shown you can improve the finishing of a number of players. The Odegaards, the Sakas, the Martinellis, even Granits. So whatever you was telling them, tell Havertz. I like to arrive in the box often. That's a quality I like. He arrives in the box late and he makes that run forward. I don't care if I'm there as a 9 or a 10. If I'm in the box, I'm there to score goals, and that's it. Doesn't really shed any light, people. I just thought that would be one for you lot to think about and give food for thought. Let me know your thoughts. Let's keep it moving. Apparently, Simon Phillips on Arsenal and Havertz. He has said sources report that any deal for Kai Havertz to join Arsenal is way off for now. There's been early contact with the player, but none yet between the clubs. Arsenal are focusing on Caicedo and Declan Rice. Chelsea are asking for big money. He's obviously not saying it won't happen. It has a decent chance of happening, but that's the state of play for now, as far as we understand. Again, I hope that the pursuit of Onana with Chelsea means that that Moses Caicedo is free for us. Allegedly, Chelsea have revived talks for Onana from Everton, people. They've had discussions and have shown a strong interest. Everton are open to the departure and they want to recover 55 million. They did spend a bag on him. Arsenal were previously linked with him when he was playing in France, so we'll have to see. Romano's also said on Havertz, keep an eye on Bayern. They have a good relationship with Kai Havertz's agents, who are the same as Conrad Lamir's. For the moment, there's no official bid, but Arsenal know that Bayern could also be in the race in the next few days. I mean, Havertz, Gundogan, Declan Rice, Caicedo, Bear Dons are arriving to the Emirates, people. The player is keen on the move to Arsenal. Arteta really appreciates him. He's a big fan of his qualities and feels this is a player with space to grow and improve despite his struggles at Stamford Bridge, people. So it's one we'll have to monitor. Luca Romero is a player I like a lot, people, and apparently I didn't know, but he's a free agent and AC Milan are interested. Arsenal, could we get that done? You know, can play out wide, very good technical player. Victor Roque, who's a player I'd love at the Emirates, seems to be going to Barcelona. We've been linked with Ruben Neves as George Mendes is trying to offload his client from Wolves and find him a new home. Was linked with Barcelona, and apparently Barcelona was the most likely destination. That appears to have hit a stumbling block, people. Apparently it will cost 25 million to bring him in, but we'll have to see. Again, Caicedo is also up for grabs, and we hope to complete the signing of Declan Rice, people. So we'll have to see. Alexis Sanchez has allegedly called Mikel Arteta to get a move back to Arsenal. Silly season. I'm not entertaining that. Spurs think they have an advantage over Arsenal in the race to sign Mark Guehi. Them links there kind of went cold, people. You're probably more likely to play on a regular basis at Spurs, and it does ensure you stay in London and the chance to learn from Pochettino. But, you know, Spurs and Arsenal, there's no contest. Even when there was allegedly a power shift, who won more trophies? Psh, come on now. You know, Spurs got to thank us, even though they moved themselves. We came all the way from South London and made North London our home, and even was kind enough to show them what a Premier League title looks like at their old ground, really and truly. Hopefully them days can continue. Dean Jones has allegedly said one of the other Premier League options for Spurs other than Maguire, we should expect them to thoroughly look into another England international in Guehi. He's also admired by Arsenal, but Spurs believe they could have the edge on them in terms of being able to offer regular first-team football, which is going to be vital in a season that leads into the European Championship, as you will aim to be part of the three-line squad. That's true, and no player situation is the same. But Calvin Phillips, maybe next season he'll play a lot at City, but he's in the England squad and he barely plays for City. He's living the dream, really. He comes on for a little 2 minutes, been part of a treble, etc., etc. Arsenal are close to agreeing a fee with West Ham United for Rice, which could total more than 100 million, including add-ons, people. Arsenal's aim is to unveil Declan Rice this summer as their first signing. I think that would show a clear intent of how this team wants to kick on. We don't know if that will be possible or how the negotiating will go, but another reason to get this deal done quickly is the hijack threat, as we saw Man City are monitoring such. We've been linked with Samuel Chukwueze again, someone that we've been linked with since he was 17 years of age. He's contracted until 2024, and it appears quite a few clubs are interested in the individual, but it doesn't appear that there's anything sort of tangible with him. Goal.com has said Arsenal have emerged as one of the top contenders to sign Kai Havertz. Thomas Partey has been linked with a move where allegedly 2 unnamed Italian teams are monitoring him, which I think it would be silly to let him depart. We do need to bring Caicedo. This is said Bayern have pulled out of the race to sign Declan Rice, allegedly, people. Juventus want Balogun to replace Vlahovic. A few days ago, Napoli wanted him allegedly to replace Osimhen. So, yeah, we're rivaling Paris Saint-Germain for Elise this summer. We're prepared to get rid of Pepe, or we're trying to. We're preparing a 35 million bid for João Cancelo. Robert Perez on Caicedo has said, I hope he signs for Arsenal. Mikel Arteta wants him. He's got all the tools needed to succeed at Arsenal. The club are willing to pay big money for him. That's testament to his ability. We have been linked with Chiesa. Juventus allegedly are demanding 60 million euros. We have also been linked with Leicester City's Timothy Castagne, but we've told that deal allegedly is going to be on the back burner as we try and, you know, press ahead with the Declans and Caicedos and Havertz allegedly of this world. Saliba's signed a new deal to go with Nelson, which is music to a lot of Arsenal fans' ears. So yeah, it's more or less the same things, really and truly. Let me know your thoughts on this Declan Rice proposal being rejected, on what we've talked about with Havertz, etc., etc. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Have a look out, because at 12 p.m. on the topic of Declan Rice, I've reached out to a West Ham fan channel and we've done a video speaking about Declan Rice, his strengths, his weaknesses, his goods, his bad, what he can bring to Arsenal and how good he'll be at Arsenal. I've also obviously seen today, Thursday, Arsenal's Premier League fixture list for this season has been released. So you know your boy's got you covered. That video's already out. Check out the playlist. Make sure you're subscribing. Make sure you're following on Kick, on Twitch, on YouTube, and all of that. Most importantly, stay blessed, stay safe. Turn on your notifications, because I'm known to go live on a random. Stay blessed, stay safe. I'm out.
There's always that active when that defending. I think it's like